Clare Johnson, welcome to us. We are so happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you very much, Alexandra. I'm really happy to be here speaking to you today.
Good. So, Clare, you are the author of many books on dreams, and The Art of Lucid Dreaming is one of them, and this is about to be launched in Sweden.
Yes, that's very exciting. I'm happy to hear that. It's really great news.
It might be the first book on lucid dreaming in Sweden. I'm not sure. I have to look that up.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it's really lovely to know. I'm always happy when my books are translated into different languages, because then you can reach a wider audience, and yeah, it's just exciting to see the new cover and the way it's all done.
Yeah, and spread the message, because it's something fantastic that you are creating.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, it's my life's work. I mean, ever since I was very tiny, I've been interested in dreams because I always had such incredibly vivid dreams. And my first memory is of a dream where I became lucid in the dream. So I knew that I was dreaming. And it was a nightmare. I was drowning in this nightmare. And I suddenly realized I had the choice. I could either stay in that dream and continue to drown, or I could wake myself up. And so I woke myself up and fell out of bed, and my mother came running and said, "Oh, there's no need to worry. That was just a dream. It wasn't real." And for me, that was a big shock, because I thought, well, actually, that was more real. That seemed more real, that swimming pool, than being in here with my mum in my bedroom in the dark. You know, it's like, how can you say it's not real? And so that for me was the first sign that there was this other world that parents didn't put much attention on, thought it wasn't real, but it felt so real to me. So that was the start of a lifelong journey into dreaming.
How old were you at that time?
I was 3. Yeah.
3. Yeah. And you have such a clear memory of it.
Yeah, it was my first memory, one of my earliest memories. You know, the other early memories of feeling my baby brother kick inside my mother's belly, you know, and that's all around the same kind of time. So I can place it to being 3 years old when that happened. Yeah.
Wow. So you are the first person I meet with such a deep knowledge of dreams. You even have a PhD in lucid dreaming, which is quite fantastic. Are you the only one in the world with a PhD in lucid dreaming?
No, I think there are many other people who have done now these days who have done PhDs on lucid dreaming. One of the first ones was Dr Keith Hearn, who was a British psychologist, and that was in 1975. He was working on his PhD, and he was the one who first scientifically proved the existence of lucid dreaming, because people were saying, no, it's impossible to be conscious while you're asleep and dreaming. It's just people are making it up. So he designed this experiment to prove that it was possible by wiring up a sleeping person in the sleep laboratory, and arranging that when that person became lucid in the dream, they would make eye signals, left, right, that would show up on the electroencephalogram, which was recording the brain waves and the eye movements and so on. And so that actually happened. The guy remembered while he was dreaming, oh yeah, I'm in the sleep lab, I have to make this signal, made the eye signal, and you could clearly see it on the screen. So that was the first proof of lucid dreaming, and that was the earliest PhD that I know of into lucid dreaming. And my PhD was the first in the world to explore lucid dreaming as a creative tool. That was my focus to start with, was creativity. And I developed all sorts of techniques for how we can become more creative when we work with our lucid dreams. And then I began to teach these techniques in workshops internationally. And very quickly I noticed, wow, it's not just about creativity. People were having very deep healing experiences in these workshops with just like a few minutes of waking dream work, and telling me, wow, you know, I just resolved a relationship problem. I've suddenly realized the pattern that I've been stuck in my whole life just by doing this lucid writing technique that I created. And it's a very quick, very simple technique. It's just you re-enter the dream mentally, and you have it very clear in your mind. You have your eyes closed, and then you allow it to develop, change, transform, and then you write without stopping, so that you don't have your critical voice telling you, oh, this is nonsense, or that makes no sense. You write and write and keep that connection up. And then astonishing things can happen in the writing. The imagery changes and develops. You can ask questions of the dream figures and find out, why are you in my dream? Why am I always having this dream of being chased, or of falling over the edge of cliffs? And it tends to come out in the writing. And so people were having these breakthroughs, healing themselves. And I thought, right, okay, you know, this work is so deep. It can take off in every direction. So what that brought home to me was it's all very wonderful to get lucid in a dream and do this healing work in the dream. That's brilliant, and it's definitely kind of the best option. But you can also have the benefits of lucid dreaming while you're awake, when you engage with your dream while you're awake, in healing ways, in creative ways, in ways that give you insight into your relationships, your life path, in ways which take you deeper into spirituality. So there were all sorts of connections and things happening. And I've always loved to teach, because it's just so brilliant what people bring to the session. They bring their whole lives. They bring their whole perspective, their way of seeing things. And when people share their process within the group, it's absolutely fantastic for everybody there. It can really be surprising, amazing, and very deep. So I moved more deeply into teaching lucid dreaming, and then I just had to write my books, you know, because it's just, you've got to get it out there, you've got to write it down, and so it can help people who like to read or who would like to listen to books, have audio books. And it's just really taken off. It's been a fantastic journey. Yeah.
For how long have you been working with lucid dreaming?
Well, I guess for about 25 years, kind of very intensively. But as I say, you know, my earliest life memory was of that flash of lucidity in the dream. And then I did my first undergraduate project on lucid dreaming. It was called Tangible Dreams, and I was creating lucid dream collages. And then it developed into the PhD gradually over years, as I realized, wow, there is so much we don't know about our dream lives. You know, so many people, they go to sleep and they just switch off their brains, and they don't remember their dreams. And we're missing out on so much when we do that. We spend a third of our lives asleep. You know, we have 2 hours of dream, like pure dreaming sleep every night, and it adds up to so many thousands of dreams. And when we don't remember them, it seems such a shame, because it's the gateway to ourselves. You know, it's like, this is our unconscious mind speaking to us in this magical, incredible, deep, symbolic imagery. And when we engage with that, wow, we find out so much about ourselves. We learn how to heal ourselves. We can have the most incredible spiritual experiences as well. I've done a lot of work as well into the kinds of dreams where all the imagery just fades, it dissolves and disappears. And you're left with light, floating in light. And these dreams are just indescribable. They feel very spiritual and very freeing. And they've helped me to understand the oneness, the sense that we are all one. We are all interconnected. There isn't any separateness. I mean, we all try to believe that we're separate little bodies with separate little brains, but dreams show us that there are so many interconnections between people, and that every state of consciousness is all part of one vast consciousness. And so when you have these deep lucid dreams, these deep spiritual experiences, it changes your perspective on life, and it helps you to feel like more serene, because you know that you're part of this whole. You're not a little lost person racing through life with all these desperate problems. You know, you can actually feel connected and feel balanced, and then you're able to help others as well in their lives. So it's a fascinating world to explore, for sure.
And I think that we should explore it a little bit more to clarify some terms. and setting the grounds for lucid dreaming, because I think that a lot of people kind of or wonders what is lucid dreaming compared to a normal dream, to astral journeys, and so on. So can you just tell us shortly, what is a lucid dream and how is it different from a normal dream?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question. So a lucid dream is a dream where we know that we're dreaming while we're in the dream. So that means we wake up inside a dream, and we look around and we know that although everything looks so real and feels so real, that in fact our body is lying in bed asleep, and yet we're here in this whole other world. So that is lucid dreaming. And often when you become lucid in a dream, it's as if everything turns to color. You know, everything becomes brighter, lighter, and everything seems to be imbued with conscious awareness. So it's a very exciting state of consciousness. So that's lucid dreaming. But lucidity really is all about awareness. So we can have non-lucid dreams where we're still highly aware. That means our thought process is clear and logical. You know, this can happen in dreams. A lot of people think, oh, dreams, it's just illogical thinking and craziness left, right, and center. Yeah, sure, some dreams are like that. You know, they are, and they can seem very random and strange. But the more we work with our dreams, you know, keep a dream journal, show an interest in our dreams, the more our level of awareness in our dreams will rise and rise. And so that's a way of becoming more lucid in the dream state. And you asked also about astral projection or out-of-body experiences. Yeah, so there is some overlap between the states of lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences, but usually before you have an out-of-body experience, you will have various things happen, various sensations, such as like a shaking, a vibrating. You know, some people report the sensation that the whole bed is just vibrating, or that their body is vibrating, energies are running up and down it. And there's sometimes this sensation of shooting upward out of the body and then floating. And often in out-of-body experiences, you can then look down and see your body asleep on the bed. And if you ever have this experience, don't be scared. You know, some people get really frightened by it and think, oh my God, it means I'm going to die. It doesn't. It doesn't mean that you're going to die. So you can relax in this experience and just enjoy the amazingness of being in a different kind of body, because most of the time when we're conscious, you know, we're in this heavy physical body where we have pain, or, you know, some people suffer from chronic pain, some people are disabled in wheelchairs, but every single night we all leave this physical body to go into a dream body. You know, that's the body we use to run around and climb mountains in our dreams, or fly to the moon. We're not in the physical body anymore, we're in the dream body. And so when you are in an astral body, you know, you have an out-of-body experience, that's very, very similar to a dream body. It's a very similar thing. So it's nothing to be scared of. It's entirely natural. And out-of-body experiences can occur in completely healthy people. So it's actually just a way of exploring consciousness. And I think one of the great values in terms of the spiritual value of lucid dreaming or out-of-body experiences is that they can help to prepare us for death, for the journey of dying and the transition of death. They help us to release our fear of death. Again, coming back to this whole idea of leaving the body. That's what we do when we die, right? But we leave it one final time. And it can be very hard for people to let go, not only of the physical body, but of the material world, of everything they've built up in their lives.
Their relationships.
Yeah, their relationships, of course, their loved ones. But I think it can help to really release the fear of death. Yeah. To have these lucid dreams or out-of-body experiences. It helps us to understand that this is natural, it's a natural process, and that something continues, or that we're all part of this oneness. So even if we did continue in a different form after death, it's still all part of this oneness, this one consciousness. I call it the lucid light, that we all return to this light.
That's nice. So when you talk like this, to me it gets very clear that consciousness is something different. I mean, I've been studying the subject of spirituality for several years now, but when you're shifting your body, so to say, you have a physical body, or you have a dream body and an astral body. What's constant is the consciousness.
Yeah.
Indifferent of the body, really.
That's right. So consciousness exists beyond the body. Yes. And that's what you learn. That's what you learn through experiencing it yourself. Yeah. And I always say to people, don't just blindly believe me or anyone else. You experiment, go out there and experience it for yourself, because then you will truly know. And there are ways of helping yourself to become lucid in your dreams. Shall I go into some of those now, or would you like
we can come back to them when we talk more about the book, The Art of Lucid Dreaming, or in Swedish it's called Konsten att Klardrömmar. You have seen the cover, but it's beautiful. Right now in print, so I don't have a physical copy with me here.
But it's lovely. Yeah, it's a really nice cover. I appreciate that. Yeah, I look forward to looking at it and trying to understand the Swedish.
You will. So have you had both astral experiences and lucid experiences?
Yes, absolutely.
So what were the big difference between the two?
So the big difference is that when you're lucid dreaming, often you are in a complete dream world. So you could be on a dream beach with loads of dream characters coming up, and you're all sipping dream martinis or whatever, that kind of situation. But when you have an out-of-body experience, often you will experience the actual physical space in which you're sleeping. And then you can fly up out of the window or through the roof, and you'll see your house and the town you live in, or the fields. When I was younger, when I was about 8 years old, I had very many experiences of shooting up out of my body and going out over the house and into the garden. I was floating maybe about 6 feet above the ground and kind of flying around. And for me, I was like, wow, I'm outside my own house and it's dark and I can see the sky and the stars, and I at the time had no reference point for this. I didn't think, oh, this is probably a lucid dream or an out-of-body experience. I told my parents about it the next day. I was like, I flew over the house last night. They're just like, oh, Claire, she's so eccentric, and they didn't believe it, or they just weren't interested. But when I look back on those experiences, it seems to me they were out-of-body experiences, because I was experiencing that similar physical kind of reality. But so I guess that's one of the main, very easy to notice differences between the two. Also, if you're in an out-of-body experience, sometimes you can look down at your body and it won't really look like it does now. Like I've seen my body when I've been out of body, and it's just been like really thin, like white, translucent, almost like looking at kind of a skeleton but with light around it, but not scary at all, just kind of like really light. Whereas in a lucid dream, as in regular dreams, you're often aware of like, oh, I'm wearing my blue party dress, or you're kind of you're more looking like your sort of usual self.
Like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
So I first heard about lucid dreaming a few years ago. But now when talking to people, a lot of people knows about lucid dreaming, and much more so than I would think. What do you say? Would you say this is something that is getting more and more attention?
Yeah, it's getting a lot more attention on every level, which is brilliant. There are a lot more scientific studies into lucid dreams as well, how lucid dreaming can help us to develop our sports skills or motor skills as well. and things like, what can we do in a lucid dream? What can we signal? Can we connect lucid dreaming to some sort of an app? Could we perhaps eventually have two lucid dreamers communicating via some sort of a phone app? Things like this. So there's so many exciting, interesting studies into it, and also many studies into how lucid dreaming can help us to heal. So when people have post-traumatic stress disorder, they've had, a very difficult time in their lives, they often get recurring traumatic nightmares. And lucid dreaming therapy can help with that. When people are shown that they can change the story of the recurring nightmare so that there are other outcomes, that empowers them. And they can do this by becoming lucid in that recurring nightmare and changing things, because when you're lucid in a dream, you can very often guide or shape the dream. Or you can ask questions, why am I dreaming this? Or what do I have to change in my life so that these nightmares go away? Things like this. So it can be very empowering for people with nightmares or histories of trauma to work with lucid dreaming. And that's all coming into these studies too. And we're also seeing many more online events, dream summits, lucid dreaming conferences, and also the International Association for the Study of Dreams, of which I was the president. We put on yearly conferences, kind of physical conferences, and also we do online events. And people are very interested in every aspect of dreaming. And lucid dreaming is definitely booming right now. I get a lot of people contacting me via my website with all manner of questions about lucid dreaming. How can I feel in my lucid dreams? Or they ask me about lucid dream sex. A lot of men are in particular are very interested in that and how that works. Or they simply say, I've had one lucid dream and it was the most amazing spiritual experience of my life. I met God or Buddha or whoever, and I want more lucid dreams. How do I do it? That kind of query is coming up a lot as people are realizing the marvelous potential of this state.
And for those people who want to create a lucid dream again, because maybe if you have an experience, maybe you think this is it, and not even know that it's something that you can actually call on. So the book, The Art of Lucid Dreaming, is the answer to this, you could say.
Yeah, and so the reason I created this book, The Art of Lucid Dreaming, is because I wanted to give people highly practical tools for how to become lucid in their dreams. And what I have done in that book is created a lucidity quiz. So you can figure out what kind of a sleeper or a dreamer that you are. Because there are so many individual differences. And this is what I was noticing with all the floods of emails, people writing to me. They'd be like, I just can't get lucid, and I'm a really deep sleeper, and I try and get lucid every night and it's not working. And so I can immediately say to them, if you're a really deep sleeper, forget about trying to get lucid in the night. Why don't you go for an afternoon nap, because then your sleep will be much lighter. You'll go very rapidly into REM sleep, which is the very dream-rich, vivid stage of sleep. And you can prime yourself to become lucid during your afternoon naps. Or if someone writes to me and says, I'm highly imaginative and I'm really good at visualizing and things, but I just can't seem to get lucid, then I can say, well, a great thing for you to do would be this visualization where you re-enter a dream that you didn't get lucid in, and then you imagine yourself becoming lucid and looking around and say, oh yeah, I'm lucid in this dream now, and then decide what you want to do whatever you like, get excited about it and make it happen on that visual level. And that speaks directly to your unconscious, using the language of the unconscious. And then that would help them to get lucid more quickly. So with all these different sleeper dreamer types, and there are 15 that I identified in the book, I then point them to the best practices for them to help them to get lucid more quickly. And it's such a relief for me just to get it into a book. So I'm not writing all these emails saying, well, if you're this kind of dreamer, then you could try this. It's in the book now. So people can just do it for themselves.
You can tailor your own lucid dream program.
Yeah, exactly. Your own lucid dream program, and you can follow that, and then have, you'll find it much easier to become lucid in dreams more quickly once you've narrowed all the possibilities down to several core practices which work for your sleeper dreamer type. Yeah.
But I would also just like to add to that, it's not, I mean, once you have found your lucid, your tailored lucid program, dream program, you can also experiment with other things, because you have 65 practices in the book, and you can do a lot of things. So what would you say are the biggest reasons for working towards a lucid dream life?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because people have very different reasons for doing it. It's like some people will say, hey, I just want to have fun in my dreams and, fly here and there and enjoy. Great. Okay. You can enjoy lucid dreaming. It's a very joyful state of consciousness. And I have nothing against dream fun. I think it helps us to wake up feeling happier, and that's got to be a good thing. So that's one level. Then you have people who have much deeper goals. For example, they may have lost a loved one and really miss that loved one and want to connect with them in the lucid dream state. And this is amazing when it happens. I mean, I've experienced it myself, kind of meeting up with deceased loved ones in lucid dreams, and it can feel incredibly real and very powerful and be part of the healing process through grief. So that's another possibility. Other people would like to heal themselves because they have either emotional trauma, or they have physical problems or illness. And we can do a lot of energy work in lucid dreams. I've gone very deeply into lucid dream healing. And one thing that really works well is when you become lucid in the dream, okay, I'm dreaming now. Oh yes, I wanted to heal my gut problem or whatever it is that you may have. Then if you create a ball of light and then bring it towards the area of your body that needs the healing, that can be incredibly powerful. Or you could dive into a healing environment in the lucid dream. So if you see a sparkling blue lake and you say to yourself, I'm going to dive into that lake, and it's the blue lake of healing, and I will emerge fully healed. And you do that in your dream. And the reason this is so powerful is because it feels just as real as you and I sitting here right now in terms of physicality. And it's the language of your personal unconscious. Your personal unconscious created that blue lake. Your personal unconscious understands that if you dive into there, this is setting a very strong intention to heal whatever physical problem it is that you have. And that makes a marvelous difference. And you can feel the healing often when you wake up from a super deep lucid dream like that. You feel lighter, your body feels healthier. And so people have reported many instances of experiencing deep healing in the lucid dream state. So those are just some of the reasons for becoming lucid. Another one is one I mentioned earlier, which is preparation for death. So those are just some of the reasons that some people want to become lucid in their dreams. And another is one that I mentioned earlier, is that lucid dreaming can help you prepare for the dying and the death process. And there's a whole branch of Tibetan Buddhism which looks at dream yoga, which is about staying conscious throughout the night of sleep in order to be able to remain consciously aware in the post-death bardo state. And so this has been around for thousands of years. It's not something new. And many lucid dreamers are interested in exploring death or exploring this whole idea of transitioning, leaving the physical body and going into another realm at the end of it. And so some people, that's their goal for lucid dreaming. So there are many different possible goals, and there are many different areas in which lucid dreaming can help us. Other people want to face the shadow sides of themselves, the darker side of ourselves, the sides that we repress or deny. And that's very, very nice to do work on that in lucid dreams as well. So there are all sorts of areas, all sorts of reasons for doing it. And I think my main reason was curiosity. Like, what is this dream world? What can happen here? What are the rules? The rules of physics are different. They're different. There's no gravity. You can fly. You can do this and that. What other things might be possible in this state? So it's just a fascinating aspect of consciousness that it just makes sense to explore, because we're here now, right? And we can do this every night. We have dreams every single night. So why not become more conscious in our dreams and expand our lives, expand our life experience through living more deeply also in the night hours?
Yeah. And the fun thing about when reading the book, it's that everyone can benefit from doing it, and there is nothing weird about it. It's not something that you only do if you are spiritually interested. It's something for everyone, and it's very straightforward and accessible with your guidance.
Yeah, I wrote it in a very accessible way. And in fact, I've been reading it to my daughter every single night before she goes to sleep as a bedtime story. She wanted this. I'm not pushing it on her or anything. So she's like, "Mom, read me your book." And so because it's nice, a nice level. She's 11 now, but it's the sort of level that she will understand as well. And it's just very nice to see how many lucid dreams she's been getting from it. And she'll report back to me the next morning and say, "Oh, Mum, I tried that reality check in the dream where you check to see if you're dreaming or not. You can pinch your nose. And if you pinch your nose while you're awake, you can't breathe through it when you close your mouth. But if you pinch it in the dream, even if you've got your mouth closed too, you can breathe through it anyway, because you're not pinching your actual physical nose, but then you realize you're dreaming." So things like that, she'll report back to me the next day that she managed to become lucid based on some of the reality checks or the practices that we've been reading in the book. So that's been really lovely to share that with her as well. And children are naturally good at lucid dreaming because they don't have the hang-ups and the blocks that many adults have around it. You tell a child that it's possible to realize you're dreaming and ask the dream monster while it's chasing you, then they'll just go and do it, the next night. It's incredible. So they're very open-minded, which is beautiful to see.
Yeah. Well, there is something that is boggling my mind, because, in society, we talk a lot about the importance of sleep, and to have 8 hours of sleep, and children should have even more. Yeah. But if we start lucid dreaming, working toward waking up in our dreams, are we disturbing this very important sleep time of ours?
Well, that's a really good question. Because sleep is super important for every aspect of health, for our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health. It's extremely important. And some people do write to me and say, "Oh, I've been trying so hard to get lucid. I've been setting my alarm at 4 a.m. and trying to have a lucid dream, and I'm just really exhausted." And I always say, just stop, your sleep is more important. And so then I would say, use some of the other practices in the Art of Lucid Dreaming. Don't try for a nighttime practice if it's getting you tired out. You could do an early morning practice, like at about 7 a.m. Let yourself have a full night of sleep, and then have like half an hour or so where you do a dream re-entry, and then bring that through into a lucid dream. You fall back into a very light sleep, but you can still have a lucid dream in that state. Or have an afternoon nap. I often recommend as well yoga nidra, which is when you lie down and totally relax your body, and then you float on the cusp of sleep, because that's incredibly restful. So also for people who need more rest in their lives, which many of us do, that sort of yoga nidra practice can be super restful, but it can also take us straight into a lucid dream, because it's possible to fall asleep while remaining consciously aware, which is a very, very interesting way of entering a lucid dream. So it's a great question, and I would never recommend to anyone to lose sleep, to lose their precious sleep. And lucid dreaming in itself does not exhaust you out or tire you. It's actually, if my daughter has a lucid dream, even if she has a long lucid dream, she won't be more tired when she wakes up. So because you're actually still asleep, you're usually in REM sleep when you have lucid dreams. So it's a normal thing. It's just that you have that raised awareness.
I had one lucid dream. I didn't know much about lucid dreaming before, but once I experienced it, I woke up and I realized this was a lucid dream. And it actually, I did not feel tired afterwards. I had very little sleep that night anyways, but I didn't feel tired afterwards. And it rather felt, I felt excitement, and I could, ride that wave for the rest of the day, because it was such a fantastic experience.
That's wonderful.
Then again, I don't think that maybe that would be healthy to have that short amount of sleep every night, but that was my decision, and it had nothing to do with the lucid dream. So I was happy to read in the book that actually lucid dreaming doesn't take away your sleep quality. Or any time.
That's
then
right.
Again, there are ways of experiencing lucid dream if you're afraid of losing sleep.
Yeah, that's true. It's all about being flexible and realizing there are lots of different possibilities, lots of different possible pathways into lucid dreaming. So that's very valuable. And as you say, yeah, sometimes a lucid dream will be so deep and so powerful and feel so magical that it will carry us through, several days. We'll feel blissed out. I remember one guy telling me that he wanted to have a spiritual lucid dream. And so he became lucid in a dream, and he said, I want to meet the Archangel Gabriel. And he waited, and then all of a sudden there was this light, this really powerful light, and it beamed down to him, and he looked up to the top of it, and at the top he could see the Archangel Gabriel, and he felt all this love and healing and beautiful energy streaming in to his whole body. And it was just absolutely intense and amazing. And he woke up from that. He'd just been through a difficult relationship breakup. He woke up from that dream feeling, like sort of crying it out, and then feeling just so much stronger and so much more able to move forward in his life, that he'd really received this gift. And so sometimes what we experience in a lucid dream can be life-changing. It can be transformative. So yeah, it's worth exploring.
It's definitely worth exploring. I have two more dream experiences that actually were life-changing. I met people, and on two occasions I met people that I had troublesome relationships with in life back then. And we actually had a meeting of where we could close our relationship in a nice way, put everything that happened away and move on together, or separate, but still without any hatchet,
Yes, that's beautiful. It's so good to be able to release these hard emotions instead of carrying them around through life. And dreams can really help us with that. One of the functions of dreams overall is to help us to release emotions that are too strong, to help us to return to a sense of balance in our lives. I mean, dreams are deeply healing. That's part of the function of sleep as a whole. And when we have a raised level of awareness in our dreams, it's possible to do all sorts of healing on different levels. And it can be just incredibly life-changing, as you say. That's wonderful.
I think the subject of healing is really interesting because of our readers are very much into healing, and who doesn't want to heal, right?
Yeah.
So healing, a lot of people want to learn how to heal themselves and others. And when we talked about healing yourself, the light globe we talked about just, is that something perhaps you could do to others as well, if you know someone who's suffering from anxiety or disease or whatever it could be, if you are in a dream, can you heal others as well?
Yeah, I mean, this is the interesting thing. It's a bit like, I mean, there have been scientific studies into the power of prayer, for example, the power of sending positive intention and healing intention to others. Even in the waking state, there are you can feel it, you can sense it when you do these scientific experiments with skin conductance tests. They can tell that something is happening, something is changing in the person for the better. And so in the dream state, although there haven't been scientific studies into lucid dream healing of others, there are many anecdotes about it. And this is certainly something I've tried in my lucid dreams. So once, fairly recently, my daughter had a fever, and she was really ill with it. You know, it wasn't just like a fever and she was basically herself, but she was very exhausted, and it went on for days. And I was starting to get a bit worried about her. And then I became lucid in my dream. And I remembered, oh yeah, I want to try and heal my daughter. So I went into her room in my lucid dream body, and I looked down at her, and I thought, well, you know, what's the best way this time? Because I often wait intuitively to feel which is the right way of sending healing energy. And I noticed that my hands were like glowing with light. I was like, oh, okay, so maybe I should do a kind of Reiki type thing, you know? So I put my hands over her body, and without touching her, I just put my hands all the way down over her body like that, sending healing light and energy. And then I felt like that was done, that I'd done that. So I went off and continued with my lucid dream. And then the next thing that happened was my daughter suddenly appeared next to my bed and woke me up from my sleep. And I was like, oh, you know, are you okay? And I put out my hand to check her fever. And there was no fever. The fever had broken. And she was like, hi, Mum. And she was, you know, back to her normal self, which was like a huge relief. And so that was interesting. And, you know, who knows? Children have fevers and then suddenly they break. And who knows? It could have just been a coincidence. But it felt really good, you know, to have been able to at least, you know, try to heal her in the dream, and then to have this what felt like a confirmation that now she was on the road to getting better. Yeah. So again, you can't scientifically prove it yet, but yeah, I've had many such experiences, and I think it always helps to be able to send positive energy, healing energy to others, you know. Why not try? And it makes the world a better place anyway when we have good, compassionate intentions towards each other.
Definitely. And I think there are so many people who want to learn how to heal, but don't believe they have the ability. But if we can at least work with it in our dreams,
yeah,
everything's possible.
Absolutely, that's true. Yeah.
Can you give us like a few tips, maybe 5 tips of how to get lucid, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or something?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing to do is to keep a dream journal. This is very important so that you have this connection with your dreaming mind and you're showing an interest. The dreaming mind is a bit like a flower, you know, that needs attention, it needs sunlight, water, and it will grow. And you'll see how your dreams change in response to your attention. And when you write them down, you're more likely to recognize dream themes that recur, that come up, and you can use those to trigger lucidity. So the next time I dream about my grandmother, I will become lucid. And also, it's very good to meditate, just maybe for 10 minutes or so before you go to sleep, just to clear your mind and set an intention to become lucid in your dreams. So meditation is a very nice accompanying action to lucid dreaming. It gives us mental clarity, and it can really help us to focus more and raise our level of awareness. Also, it's very good to question your reality during the day. Look around and ask yourself, am I dreaming now? You know, how do you know you're not dreaming right now? And most of the time, we're completely duped and taken in by our dreams. We have the most crazy dreams and we don't realize that we're dreaming because it feels so real. So look around and ask yourself if you are dreaming. And you can also do reality checks. So for example, you could try to put your finger through the palm of your hand. It's not going to work very easily if you're awake. And in a dream, you might find that it actually goes through your hand and you realize, oh, okay, I'm dreaming now, because matter is, of course, not as solid in the dream world. So try and do reality checks. Or say to yourself, every time I find myself walking through a door today, I will ask myself if I'm dreaming and do a reality check. And that just, it hones your mind so that you bring the thought and the idea of lucid dreaming into your mind during the day. And that helps you to set a solid intention to become lucid in your dreams. And generally having a lucid dream goal, an idea of what you want to do in your lucid dream, that can really help. Whether or not you go through with your goal when you become lucid, it doesn't matter. But the important thing is to get excited about lucidity. Really make it fresh, make it enthusiastic. I'd love to get lucid in my dreams, and then breathe underwater in the ocean, if that's your goal. And just really imagine that happening. And when you deeply and vividly imagine yourself being lucid in a dream and doing this incredibly exciting thing, that it also helps to set this strong intention and excitement around becoming lucid. And that all really helps. It will go through into your sleeping and dreaming mind. And you'll find your dreaming mind will start to help you to get lucid. Like you'll see neon signposts saying, this is a dream. Or you'll have a dream person saying to you, hey, this is very dreamlike, isn't it? And trying to hint to get you to go, oh yeah, I am dreaming right now. So the more you bring together these kinds of lucidity practices, the more likely you are to become lucid in your dreams.
Fantastic. And more tips and suggestions are in the book, of course.
Many more. Yes.
So Claire, we have a few short questions for you. Mm-hmm. So we'd like to know where you're from, because I know that you're sitting in Germany right now, but yes, you don't sound like a German.
No. I'm English, yeah. I'm from the UK, and I grew up in Devon in the south of England. Yeah, but I've lived in various different countries. Also spent a lot of time in Portugal, which is where I lead my lucid dreaming online retreat, my lucid dreaming ocean retreats, which I've had to bring online because of Corona. But I spend a lot of time in Portugal. I really love it there. I've also lived in France and Spain, Germany. So yeah.
Lots of places,
yeah,
especially in Europe.
Yes, especially in Europe. And I've traveled a lot in Southeast Asia as well, and other places too. But I like to explore the world, the physical world and the dream world.
And behind you, you can see a lot of material. Is that lucid dream material, or
the books? Or yeah, a lot of them are the books that I've written, and the covers for foreign language books, things like that.
So how many books on lucid dreaming have you written so far?
7. And the newest one that I've just finished is The Art of Transforming Nightmares. So that's like the twin to The Art of Lucid Dreaming. Yeah. And I'm excited about that one as well, because so many people have bad dreams, nightmares, anxiety dreams, and don't know what to do with them. So that's about how lucid dreaming can help us to transform our sleep. Yeah.
We have some of that in the Art of Lucid Dreaming. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Because I think, like you say, I think there's a lot of people out there who want to get rid of their nightmares. Yeah. But it's actually that kind of a big subject that you could actually write an entire book on, which is so interesting. Yeah.
And I always see nightmares as healing gifts. They are in fact healing gifts. When we work with them, we do dream therapy with them to unwrap them. They have a message for us, and it's always a message of healing and wholeness. So it's quite fascinating to work with our so-called bad dreams as well, because in fact they're there to help us as well. They can be guiding lights helping us through life. So I kind of yeah, I try to encourage people when I'm doing workshops and so on to work with these dreams. And it's often fascinating. They've got so much power, nightmares. And often when a dream is very powerful, it means it's really got a very powerful, strong message for our lives. So there's a lot of transformative potential there.
So true. What do you love doing in life aside from lucid dreaming and your daughter?
Yeah, I also really love swimming. I'm always happy if I'm in the water, you know, or going to the ocean. Yeah, I love to read. I love to ride my bicycle. I love being out on the river in a boat, you know, all that sort of stuff. So I adore nature. And I love being with people as well. I don't know. I just there are many things that I love to do. Yeah,
enjoying life.
Yeah, write and write books. I want to get back into writing fiction again.
So, you have fiction books also.
Yeah, Breathing in Color was my first book, and Dream Runner as well. And of course, there's dreams in those books as well. Of course, how could there not be? Yeah, but it's been years since I've written a novel, so I'm thinking of getting back into that. I've also written short stories and poetry. Yeah, so lots of things. I'm very interested in many things in life.
So writing has been a part of your life for a long time, not just as
I kept a diary from the age of about 7 or 8, and and I just took it from there, turned it into a dream journal and novels and all sorts. So yeah, I love to write.
Do you have a motto in life?
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because before we started this chat, I think it was before we started recording this chat, it was something that you said. You said that you found out from your dreams, which is anything is possible. Do you remember? I'm not sure if we were recording then or not, but and when you said that, I thought, well, that's exactly what I believe, and that is part of my my motto, I guess. Anything is possible, and also, the most important thing in life is being kind. I really believe that. And I always say that to my daughter. You know how children ask you, you know, all these questions about life and why are we here and what should we do and how does it all work? And I always say that's the most important thing, is being kind. If we were all kind to each other, the whole world would transform. So, yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And that's actually a lot of what the work that we are doing, if it's lucid dreaming or spiritual books, it's helping people to stay kinder and understand the kindness in people, even though maybe they are having a tough day.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Being compassionate, that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's another one then. Yes. So is there anything you want to say to your Swedish audience while you have the chance?
Oh, I'd just like to say hello, and I'm delighted to meet you. I'm delighted that my book is coming out in your language, so it's much more easily accessible, although I know that Swedish people have an amazing level of English for the most part as well. But it's always nice and more relaxing to read a book in your own language. Yeah, and if you ever want to join me on a retreat or online workshop, I'd love to connect with you that way too. And I wish you beautiful dreams, transformative dreams, and that you make the most of this magical journey that we can all take every single night while we sleep.
I'm so looking forward to dig into lucid dreaming.
Yeah, it's very exciting for sure.
I can tell. So, Clare, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you, Alexandra. It's been beautiful to speak to you about this. I really appreciate your interest as well in my work, and that you're getting it out there in Swedish. That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.